Well, hello everybody. I am Juicy Joe, and yes, I'm here again. This is Tara the Foodie's YouTube channel. This is her test kitchen, but a little different. I'm not filming. Actually, Tara the Foodie is behind the camera today. So, her beautiful pink nails, if you see there. That's excellent. So some of our viewers have really reached out.
We were talking about burgers, and a friend of mine, he suggested that you make a Juicy Joe burger.
Yes, that's correct. So that's why we're here. We're going to make a Juicy Joe burger. Everything that you see here on the counter, we're going to use in this Juicy Joe burger. Initially, what we want to do is get all your components out on the countertop. Make sure that you have the ingredients to help you out to expedite anything, all the preparation in the kitchen. Some people don't do it. Some people leave everything in the fridge, grab what they need when they need it. But I prefer just to have things out on the counter, use it as you go, and then put it away when you're done. There's going to be bacon on this burger, okay? Whatever your preferred method to cook bacon, all you got to do is just cook bacon. What I like to do, what I prefer to do, is just because it's kind of like a less hassle way to cook bacon, and it really comes out pretty consistent every time. We preheat our oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to put the bacon in the oven. So you get your package of bacon, and since it's going on a burger, we don't need the pieces, full-length bacon pieces. And what I like to do is really just cut the package right in half, and then right out of the gates, you have the whole package sliced in half, and we're going to spread these half-cut pieces of bacon out on a cookie sheet. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. So grab the best looking cookie sheet you have in the kitchen, which we don't have.
we don't have one, and then it's just horrible looking in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes, and that's a good. You want to see well used implements in a kitchen. That shows that somebody's cooking, and we're going to fit as many of these slices of bacon out on this cookie sheet. So we'll go ahead and put our bacon in a 400 degree preheated oven. If you time it right, let's go 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes in 10 minutes. And once I get myself rinsed off here a little bit, we're going to go into the next component for this Juicy Joe burger, which is the homemade handcrafted Pico de Gallo. And once I get a hold of my notes here, with the Pico de Gallo that we're going to use on the Juicy Joe burger, we're going to come over here and grab ourselves 3 tomatoes. And what we're going to do with these 3 tomatoes is we're just going to dice them up. And you got to think, we've all had Pico de Gallo probably at this point in our life. When you dice something, small enough pieces to look like a dice. I don't know, like a pea size or. So we got our 3 tomatoes here. We'll start with. And this is where it comes into play with preparing your meals. Make sure that you have at least one sharp chef's knife. It takes a lot of frustration out of dicing, cutting, especially when you have fruits and vegetables that have that thin layer, and you gotta really be accurate with your knife. But also it's a safety too. Like, you're not going to be forcing yourself through whatever you're cutting, whether it's meat, whether it's chicken, and again, whether it's even a vegetable, which no one wants to get cut. Ooh, got my nail there, baby.
Oh,
just a
careful,
titch.
Baby.
Just a titch.
Just the tip?
Just the tip. When we're all done here making this delicious burger, go into Tara the Foodie YouTube catalog and pick out another video. There's one other video in there that I'm in, but you got to go and find it yourself. Look how juicy these tomatoes are.
Oh my God.
That's all over the cutting board.
They're just wet.
They're just wet. Uh-oh. Now the timer went off on the bacon that is in the oven. I don't know if it's going to be ready yet. I did set that timer for 10 minutes. So we're going to check it now. Oh no, you're right, honey. 10 minutes is not enough. So we're going to go ahead and just hit the timer, put another 3 minutes on here. So in that 3 minute time, I'm going to come back over here. We got the tomatoes diced up, and we're going to move on to the next component for the Pico de Gallo, which is your onion. Just grab yourself 1 medium white onion. And again, with this onion, all we're going to do is dice it. The way that I dice up my onions here is I cut off the ends, cut the onion in half, marry those two together so I can just get through the whole onion. How do you like filming, babe?
It's fun.
It's fun, isn't it?
I'm just sitting over here eating peanuts.
Yeah, you get hungry. You get hungry filming, don't you?
Yeah.
That's why I'm always snacking.
You are always.
I'm drinking and snacking when I'm filming.
Well, you're not doing any work. You're just like watching somebody else do work.
And you get hungry watching somebody else do work. You know what that means? Time to check the bacon.
Somebody wants a drink.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Get a drink. And for you, for who's ever wondering, this is Roman Burger, a star of his own.
Yeah.
A star of his own recipe.
Everybody knows Roman burgers.
Yeah, those bacon.
They look pretty good.
Well, I'll take them out just so we can look at the bacon in better lighting. Yeah. So again, I think if you look at the color, yeah, maybe I was thinking another 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like it nice and crispy. It's really how you like your bacon.
Yes. So with the color and how everything is with this bacon, I'm going to say it's safe to say we're going to put it back in the oven for just a couple more minutes, just to get that level of crisp that I prefer. And then we're back at the Pico de Gallo, tomato, onion, diced together. Moving on to jalapenos. Okay, these are smaller jalapenos. Depending on where you get your jalapenos from and how big they are. Some of the other videos that you've seen Tara the Foodie use jalapenos, they're pretty much the length of my hand here. Not the case, so we're going to use 2 jalapenos. A word to the wise: when you're handling jalapenos, don't touch your eye. And maybe in this video, she might put a clip in why.
Shut up. Yes, I touched my eye.
Why is that, babe?
It really hurts.
It really hurts. Cut the stems off, cut them in half. Grab yourself a little spoon, which works good because you want to get the seeds out of your jalapeno. You can use a knife, or in this case, I'm using just the teaspoon size. This is your implement to scrape out the inside of your jalapeno. Whereas Roman likes to say jalapeno. We got another snacker over here. You see this kid?
We're over here eating peanuts.
This
is our snack. We have some strawberries.
These distractions in this test kitchen tonight, overwhelming. But for anybody that has family that they're cooking for, which is probably most of the case, it's only inviting to have people in the kitchen with you as you prepare. Oh, yeah, perfect. So it's getting there. Yeah, I think they're crisp up. I mean, I can keep them in there a little bit.
They look really nice.
Yeah. With this style of cooking bacon in the oven, you do want to lay it out on a wire rack, preferably. Some paper towels here.
These are nice shorts, babe.
Oh, yeah. In order for it to be a Juicy Joe burger, you have to have short shorts. Yeah. You have to have short shorts. So have to have.
You need to bend over and get anything? Yeah.
Enjoy it. Don't be naughty. And one thing that you'll hopefully learn in the kitchen to make whatever dinner go along at a more reasonable pace is you try to multitask. Right away I turned on the oven, so let the oven preheat to 400. Because once the oven's preheated, put the bacon in. and work around it. You know, it's okay. You can step away from making the pico de gallo in this case to coming back, making sure that you take the bacon out of the oven and move on from there. But yeah, that's a good crisp. That the color's still there. It hasn't completely gone to that that shade of burnt, where it's almost tasteless. All right, let's take it back over to our pico de gallo, adding in some diced jalapenos. So once the thin strips are cut, turn it and continue dicing. We're down to the fresh cilantro. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a good handful here, pick some of these leaves off of the stem. You have to put like hold music on when we're doing something mundane like this. Or like the Jeopardy noise that like that show really made me feel like an idiot.
Me too. Don't worry. Me too.
I tell you, I mean, that was just the wrong show to be watching when you were already a struggling average student. So we're adding the cilantro, and I don't know if you can hear over the chewing sound.
Hey,
what?
They can't even hear it. You have a lavalier mic on.
I hear it. I hear you chewing like you're right next to me in my ear, chewing all those delicious peanuts. One of my favorite treats. That's why you're doing it to me. You're torturing me now. And I don't think I've said this. The reason we're making this pico de gallo is we need all these, you know, the tomato, the onion, the cilantro, the salt, the pepper. We're going to get to the lime juice here, but the pico de gallo needs to sit. Let all those components marry together. So we're done with the chopped cilantro, and what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the juice from one lime.
Your bare hands. Ooh, juicy.
Mm-hmm. Dole it in there until I get a little nod saying, maybe that's enough. I don't know. That's like 2 pinches. Yeah, 3 pinches.
I don't know how big your pinches were, but.
Okay, we're going to go with, so maybe like, you know, if you want to measure that out, I'm thinking a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of salt. And keep going with this pepper. Don't be shy. We all like pepper. And if you don't, then you might want to find another channel to watch. So you can see here, everything is in this pico de gallo that needs to be in. And we'll just take a fork, turn things around, and set this aside. Yes, look at the color. That's why I am a pico de gallo fan, because you know it's true what you know nutritionists say and who we are as a species. We eat by color, and if you can make something that's colorful, the chances are it's going to be delicious. Look at that juice in the bottom there. Oh yeah, that's where it's at. Let's see a little taste test of the pico de gallo. For not having sat around, you can tell, you know, the tomatoes has its own flavor right now. But I think as this thing rests, you're going to taste more hints of the onion and the salt coming through, and the jalapeno. Surprisingly, the jalapeno popped right away. So now that we have the pico de gallo, all the ingredients in this bowl, we're going to just set this aside.
Yeah. I love to watch you walk away.
Angus beef chuck roast. Angus beef chuck roast. Angus beef chuck roast.
Maybe the chuck roast's name is Angus.
Yeah, Angus, how you doing there, buddy?
Oh.
All right, so we're moving on to the centerpiece of the Juicy Joe burger. What we have here is a healthy serving of Angus beef chuck roast. And what we're going to do here is we're going to cut it into strips, because we got a little surprise in the Tara the Foodie Test Kitchen surprise. Guess what? We're going to grind up our own meat here today. First time ever in a video, we're going to use Tara's very own meat grinder. But we got to cut this down into strips, manageable enough to be fed into the meat grinder. We're going to feed our meat down into the throat.
Wow. This is getting graphic.
Well, if you want a Juicy Joe burger, this is where you go with it. You know, you think, oh, wow, that's, you know, who's going to eat that? Well, it's going to be in ground. I mean, that's what ground meat is. You're grinding everything up. You know, yes, there is fat there, but I mean, otherwise, that's a pretty lean meat. You know, all the balance out.
Dun, da, da, da.
Dun, da, da, da. You just calm down there. Whose show is this?
Ours.
Okay, so here we go, people. You've seen this device used in many kitchens, and in course, Tara the Foodie, she's continuing to add on to implements. So we have the meat grinder here. What we'd like to do is take the bowl that the blender comes with, flip it upside down, and that just takes what we're grinding. It brings the bowl that we're grinding into just a little higher. And action. There we go. In you go. In you go. And maybe the camera person will come over here and you'll start to see what's coming out of the blade end. So you getting hungry yet, baby?
Yes, babe.
Okay, so yeah, here we are. We went through all that meat, ground it up. We got the Angus beef chuck roast right here in this bowl, and nothing else is done to it. This white stuff here, I like to run bread through the meat grinder just at the end, just to make sure I push out all of the meat. And who cares? There's a little bit of breadcrumbs in there, but you know what? It's going to be part of the burger now. So what we're going to do is lightly ball up this meat into equal sizes. And a great addition to any kitchen is a scale. I mean, it's just a no-nonsense way of weighing everything that you need for a recipe. And simple enough. You grab your meat, and let's see. What do you think, babe?
I
4
think
ounces?
4 ounces for a smash burger.
All right, so this is, put it on the scale there. Boom, 3, a little bit more. 3.64. Good. And for a smash burger, that's it. You'll see why. So just continue to do that. 4 right on the button.
Whoa.
4-1, close enough. We're not selling drugs here. Right? I mean,
right.
For some people that understand scales.
Have the scale just in case.
You know, the bag weighs something too, right? And the stems. We all know that trick. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And just so you know, when Tara the Foodie, she knows her way around the kitchen. She's a good hand to have helping out.
Yeah. I try, babe.
You know, she doesn't just sit on the counter with the camera eating peanuts in front of me. She'll probably speed this up. So I'll sound like a little chipmunk or squirrel. A little squirrel. Just speed it up, babe.
I wouldn't speed up your... We don't want to miss a second of you, babe.
In no particular order, what we did here is, again, you take about 4 ounces of your meat and ball it up lightly. And these are going to turn into the most delicious burger you have ever had. Guaranteed. Just wait. All right, so now we're out on the deck studio with Dirty Girl here. If you take a little behind shot of Dirty Girl, just I don't know how good she looks from the backside though. But this is Dirty Girl, which is all heated up, ready for her meat. So again, what we're doing is we got this, we got our grill heated up with a griddle in there because this is going to be a smash burger. Lightly oiled, and we're ready to smash some burger. Boom, boom, boom. And what I like to use with smash burgers, get yourself 2 sturdy spatulas, and hopefully one of the spatulas doesn't have any perforations through it. Obviously, when you're smashing your meat, it's best to have a solid blade spatula. Put that down, right on top, get a little squeeze. You hear it cooking already, and look at that. So once you get it smashed into the thickness and size that you want to season it. So this bowl has salt, pepper, and garlic powder. It's a pre-made seasoning, and we'll go ahead and sprinkle some of that on and continue. So we got room to do a couple here. Yeah. And season again. You can smell that already, can't you, baby? Who's hungry in this house? Who's hungry in this house?
We're all waiting to eat.
We're all waiting to eat, yeah.
So we can go to bed.
Eat, drink a beer, watch a show, go to bed.
Yeah.
The American dream, right here. And tear the Foodie's test kitchen. One meal, one day at a time. Yeah, my baby.
Looks good, baby.
Wow. Now that we have all the smash burgers grilled up, we are back in the test kitchen here, and it is time for assembly. We toasted up a bun, Kaiser bun in this case. We get the first of 2 patties, and the cheese that I'm going with, I just love, is Havarti. So you take your first patty, and you can see that cheese is deliciously melted all over that patty. Look at that. So once you have the first patty on your bun, we're gonna, let's see here, 1, 2, we're gonna go 3 pieces of bacon here, and then grab your second smash burger. Right there, baby. And then we're gonna go right to our lettuce. There we go. Look at that color, look at that edge, that greenish edge there, huh? And what we did earlier, while we had some time, is we picked out an avocado and we thinly sliced the avocado. So that's what's in this little bowl here. So right on top of the lettuce, we're going to add this avocado. Don't be shy. And it is salted too. Go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit of salt on it. Now that we got the avocado on. And remember the Pico de Gallo that we made in step 1? Here it is. And that is going right on top of the avocado. That was going right on top of there. Look at those. Look at that juice just pouring off of the spoon there. We're going to keep going with this.
Yeah, make it messy, baby.
Yeah, this is a juicy Joe burger.
Yeah.
The last piece is the top of the Kaiser bun. Right there. Is that the perfect spot for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is that it? Right there, babe.
Looks beautiful.
And there, people, is the Juicy Joe burger. Whew, that was a close one. We had to stop and take a couple pictures before I murdered this beautiful creation here. So we got our pictures, stopped filming. I was ready to cut right through this thing. So we're going to do that now. Got to get in here and okay. And this is why it's important to have a sharp knife. That's a bread knife, but man, it will rip through anything there.
Whoa. Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. It is assembled, and I am one hungry Juicy Joe. Mmm. Mmm.
Oh God, it's all falling apart.
It's all falling apart. Might not be the best date food, but I tell you what, it's gonna hit the belly, and it's gonna feel good. Mm. Mm. I mean, your mouth just goes all over the place with the bacon, the avocado, the Pico de Gallo, and the hints of just the Havarti cheese, that because it's just got such a unique flavor. And yes, it makes a mess, but it is well worth the mess. I'm going to continue to feed my face this delicious burger, and I hope you enjoyed my takeover, the Terror the Foodie takeover with me. I'm Juicy Joe, and I'm just going to keep having at it. What? Can I eat in peace now? Leave me alone already.